just trying to think if it was Don's or if it's the one that Mike owned in front.
Okay.
I think it's Don's. Oh,
this is the,
financials.
well, we've got the June ones, and then we've got the, that's those.
All right. Financials. Never mind.
Yes, probably supposed to. No, it's a good thing. I mean.
How come it's got the same?
Just put it back. Just put it back. On the back. Slide it up. No, on the, there's a,
I'll leave it. Well, look at there.
You ready to go? Okay, it's 4:00. Call this council meeting to order. Will you please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, jumping into this. Have you guys had time to read the May 25 council meeting minutes?
Yes.
Any changes, corrections? No, Charlie, you okay with them?
Yep.
Make a motion to accept the May 25th, 2021 council meeting minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. Okay, June 1st special session. This is in regards to
The resolution.
the resolution. COVID still spelled wrong.
Yeah.
But other than that, are there any changes?
No, there's no changes. I make a motion to accept the June 1st special session minutes with the COVID being uncorrected.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then the budget minutes. Budget meeting minutes.
No corrections.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept the June 2nd budget meeting minutes for 2021.
All in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Okay, fire department.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
You want to come on up here so that we can make sure to hear you on the recording?
What you want? Okay. That's fine. I got lots to do.
You have a podium.
First thing, I want to thank all the Sumter Fire.
And on this side.
I want to thank all my volunteer firemen.
Yes.
First thing. Next thing is truck pump test. Heard there was some issues. Look in the phone book, find me another company in Oregon that can do an NFPA pump test. It's not like you're hiring a lawyer or looking for a horseshoer. It's an NFPA pump test. You know that the next one is due. I'm just letting you know that it's people's lives on the line to get it done when we can. Burn pile. City's taking it away from the fire department. You know, we used to inspect the loads and burn the burn pile, and when it was all burned out, it was burned out. It was never an open deal. It was scheduled to bring your piles over and burn. So if it's continuous, nothing to do with me. Fire call, we had one fire call. We had Monday or Sunday, less than a quarter acre medical call, we set up LZ. Fire season starts tomorrow night at midnight. That means no fires. Rec fire only, no burn barrels, no ground fires, nothing that makes smoke other than a recreational fire with a 1-foot flame. ISO is our insurance rating. It is July 8th. We have a meeting. The city water guys meet with him first, and then at 10 o'clock, the fire department meets with him. Goes over all kinds of stuff, you know, fire hydrant pressure, master streams on fire trucks, how good the tires are on the fire trucks. There's quite a deal. It's all bases your homeowner's insurance. So the better we score on that, the better off everybody in the community is, and we're working towards getting a good rate. Flea market donations. We had money in the boot up at the hot dog feed, which was very nice. Plus Sumter Valley Community Volunteers, you know, ran the booth, the hot dogs, and are always giving us funds. Laura Schroeder and Scott Borson, they had a garage sale at their private residence. All their funds went to Sumter Fire Department, $545 they have donated.
And they're the ones that are right behind the post office.
Yes, right by the post office on Columbia Street. Training's been going really well. We had on our fire, we had a couple clog nozzles, which happens this time of year because it's the first time we've had trucks out and actually revved up and pumping. A couple of the draft points and water sitting in them all winter. It just got some particles, rust particles, gravel off the draft points. Got that all taken care of, so we're ready to roll. And I guess the other thing, this dang 4 o'clock meetings suck. When I came on to fire chief, they were 7 o'clock. So if I can't attend them, I'm not gonna sweat it, because I'm taking back off to finish the concrete now.
Before you leave, Kurt, what will it take for you to go over with a fire truck and put that fire out?
About 15 minutes.
Well, I figured as much, but can you do that?
We can, yeah,
Well, if we drop, I mean,
So-
there's some big wood in there, and I don't know how it got there, but
yeah.
that's here and there, but if we can soak it to where.
We can soak it and give a
Because people are
sign
bringing it
that,
in and they're putting it out front, and then it gets shoved into the pile.
yeah.
And then they also were starting to dump again on John Patterson's place, and
We need
They
to
turn
sign it, I
around.
guess, and if they're not dumping debris on active fire, then it's okay.
right, well, that.
It's just it never goes out the way it's ran, the way it's open now. You know, for years we've talked about putting fences around it and having keys and,
Well, like I said, I figured if you took the big timber over there and just opened it up and drowned it, 5,000 gallons of water will kill it.
oh, yeah.
Hey, Kurt,
Yeah, I can
one
wash,
question.
put it in
On
the
the-
Cracker Creek for 5,000 gallons.
The truck pump test that's
Yes.
coming up, is that done up here, or do you have to go somewhere else for that?
So if you can find somebody else that can go anywhere, the only people in the phone book that everybody uses is in Richland, Oregon.
And what is your estimate again of that cost?
I told them before they get the truck, I want a hard cost.
Please.
That's the biggest.
That's what they're working on.
Yeah,
Of course, yeah, they're working on getting a hard,
Just-
because I told them it was an issue, you know, that they gave us a price and then they were more. The pump was 35 years old and parts, basically Hale Pump made a few parts to make that pump test.
okay, so yeah, just so we can get, a good estimate of what it's gonna be first.
Right.
So you're not surprised.
Yeah, and I told them that was coming up. I just wanted to let you know that
Okay.
And
it will come up because,
Then tomorrow, Renee will go out and do the reader board for a fire
Yep.
engine. I was gonna ask you about that, because right now, listening to the radio on the loader, they're gonna have prescribed burns all week long.
yeah,
Really.
yeah, so this
So I
is the
figured
letter from
It'll
them.
come
Oh,
over
I
and
love that
burn us
already.
up.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks, Chris.
some forest is having, I don't think, our forest is having them, because we got two pretty good blazes going right now in Joseph area, so.
Yeah, because this here's for John Day.
Yeah, I think Grant County and Mount here are still burning over there, but that's probably gonna change. They'll probably put this stuff out too and change it. And then my guess is, we always try and do a recreational fire up through the 4th of July. Sounds like they're not gonna let anything that's got an amber burn, say, on the 1st of July, so. And as far as I'm concerned, the earlier they do it, the better. So, I hate to have people not be able to roast a hot dog or something, but
Oh, wow.
it's.
Yeah.
No, I'm not pointing any fingers.
Thank you, Chris.
That was a problem.
Okay, planning, John?
Actually, I do the hot dogs. And so council knows the boot for the white truck to turn it red, we got over $500 needed at the hot dog stand to paint that truck. We don't have an estimate yet, but we're going. Okay, to the city council, the only application we were able to handle was one for John Patterson for an office, 150 space RV park and event center. I'd like to read a couple of things so the council knows where the ordinance takes us. IR zone, and this is all IR, is mostly made of property covered with gold dredge tailings or has been placer mined. Approximately 70% of the IR zone is designated floodplain. In other words, IR is the old gold tailing piles. Use is permitted outright in the IR zone, gravel operations. 2, any use which complies with applicable state laws and any supplementary provisions of that use as per this ordinance, except a use which has been declared a nuisance by statute, by action of the city council, or by a court of competent jurisdiction. Based on our ordinance, the planning commission, with John abstaining, of course, is recommending for approval on this application. And basically what the ordinance does is put it back on council. There's no other guidance other than there are some dimensional standards that we go back and refer to the residential zone to get dimensional standards, but there is nothing that is for residents, not for commercial use business. So council needs to look at this one, take a good hard look at it, and work with John on it. And so be it. Any questions?
We have two of them here. We have Mike.
Merritt, we were not able to get to. And we will get to it the next meeting.
Well, because his application's here, he's got his diagram, he's got all the pictures and stuff. I mean, what's the hang up on this one?
Unfortunately, there was a misunderstanding. The copies that we were given to work from did not have the map and the diagram. So we sent it back for more information. After the meeting had ended, I looked at the original, and the original copy did have the map and the diagram. So
We've got it all right here.
you have it all right there, and if you want to look at it and approve it, but we felt, looking at what we had in front of us, we needed more information.
You guys want to do this?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay?
so what do you want to do with this? No, we're gonna finish.
It's down here.
Oh, it's down here, okay. Yeah. So we'll take that up. Okay, we'll vote on these coming down, it's further on the agenda. Okay, pay bills.
All right. So you guys have in front of you two other documents as well, in addition to the bills to be paid. Those documents are budget actuals for profit and loss for fiscal year to date. These will be a new thing every single council. And then additionally, you do have one copy of the bank reconciliation, which was done for May, the June 1st bank statement. So you can take a chance to just peek over those, and that'd be good. On the bills, well, actually, I think it's probably worth noting a couple items on the profit and loss. Year to date, the city as a whole, so if you just consolidate all the funds, the city as a whole has net income of about $39,000 year to date. That includes $44,000 insurance reimbursement, so without that, we'd be at a loss. Primary drivers of that are on the revenue side. We're over in collections on land use fees, property taxes, and cannabis sales are higher than budgeted. Water use fees and sewer user fees, we did a more aggressive increase in price than was originally budgeted. Those are your drivers on the positive side, and then it's not even covering the cost of legal fees, which are way in excess of budget. Those are really your two big stories for the current fiscal year. Okay, on to bills. So that's our typical spreadsheet here that shows what kind of we expect our cash balances to be. If you look at the top, our current bank balance as of today is $35,693 in our checking account. If you flip to the back of the page, you can see we also have $143,000 in LGIP as of right now. Again, flipping back to the front page, shows prior month collections of $40,494, of which about $10,000 was flea market, gross. It's in gross collections. You can see our water and sewer were roughly $25,000 we project. The bills, just going to call out some of the more larger or unusual ones. We had a urinal stoppage in the building here, I think, right? Oh, different building? Park. $1,100. Dust abate, we did Buckley Law, partial payment there, $5,000. Total bill is $21,000. And they charged us the exact same amount of interest as they did last month, but this time instead of being 7.2%, it was at 9.4%. It's kind of an amusing thing to just keep going. Dust abatement was $8,040 and was paid for, will be paid for this month. Fairgrounds had multiple repair items. One was $1,400 for the electrical. There were some coin acceptors we paid for as well. We're also paying the annual water system fee, $900 down there. That's we're projecting at the end of the month, or about a month from now, the cash balance will have decreased from $35,000 to $23,000. Any questions?
No.
I make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Rob, we'll pay the bills. I have a question with regards to the status of the water grant. What's going on with that?
We're not there yet.
Okay. I just figured that would be under bills. You need a one we ever been talking about? Yeah. Okay. Okay. 4th of July flea market. So, I don't have the numbers. Renee worked up at the flea market for Memorial Day, so we have an actual account of expenses. She took all the money, she handled all the money like it was asked. I think we are a little above break even on Memorial Day. So the question is, we have a chart. So the question is, if we want to go ahead with 4th of July and Labor Day, because obviously the vendors need to be told yes or no.
Although most of them were told no, because there were a lot of them.
So it looks like, according to hers, so the rollovers were people that had paid already from years in the past. Without the rollovers, we made 1720. Is that correct?
Yes, before electric.
Yeah, we don't have the electric in, but we should have collected enough electric to cover.
And propane.
And propane. The biggest expense for the flea markets, of course, is porta potties and the garbage.
Linda, by 1720, what do you mean by 1720?
$1,720.67 we made without counting the rollover. So we aren't in the hole, in other words. Several of the businesses for Memorial Day did give $200 to put towards porta potties. The major expense for flea market is down here because we have to put porta potties down by the business and stuff. So council just has to decide if they want to continue going. I mean, I think Labor Day has always been a good market. 4th of July has always been liked. Yes, John?
I've talked to a lot of the merchants in town, a lot of them are here,
Yes, I see
and
that.
they're willing to kick in on the porta potties.
Well, that's what I
So there's something to take in it.
right.
How much did you charge dust abatement how much did you charge for dust abatement? The whole 8,500?
No, to this, no, because it's split between the three.
Well, why isn't it split for the 10 events?
It is.
Did you split it for 10? Okay,
We
she
split it for
the
the 10,
event.
the 10 special events and the 3
Three
flea markets.
So we didn't put it all to Memorial Day. And I know, I have talked to several of the merchants, and so has Charlie, and again, like John said, they're willing to kick in to help. Now, obviously, 4th of July, we don't have to have as many porta potties, and probably one dumpster. So I guess the question do you have vendors that want to come 4th of July? Well, I didn't know if this.
Linda, also I spoke with Baker Sanitary today.
Uh-huh,
They said that it would have to be the city or the city controlling entity of the flea market,
right,
but if we could apply with them. And
Right.
it sounded like there was option to potentially reduce the bill past the vendors contributing towards the cost of sanitation.
and that's what we offered to do for the porta potties Memorial Day, have them all come up, on one load, and then have the merchants pay the city.
Well, even past that, to be clear,
Yeah.
because that's what I understand is options from the vendor, or
Yeah,
the merchants in town. But to be clear, it's Baker Sanitary saying if the city
yeah,
wants to fill out a simple form there, that they'll reduce the bill
okay,
potentially.
okay. So Renee, you need to, let's see what you got. Yes, John?
Have you guys thought about leasing it out to the whole flea market, the grounds out to a private company to let them handle it?
No, we've had volunteers in the past that have done it totally, or,
I hate to be the stick in the mud here, but you have to read that lawsuit, the judgment.
I have read it several times.
And it says before every event, you have
That's
$110,000 a year.
John, that part's not quite true. That's back in the day when every event that we ever had, we ran a water truck. That was the dust abatement. It was never oil.
No, you didn't.
Well, I do know what you're talking about because that's what it says.
It
but
says
that's
right
not-
in there, you
but it's
can't
not
use the
true.
water, you have to, I'm just letting you know that that's what it says in there. But if you would read it,
John,
and you wouldn't have to do any of it.
John,
John.
we have read it.
we have read it. We know what it says. And the thing is though, is once again, the attorneys who was doing,
You don't have to say it with the attitude, we're all.
Okay, guys,
Well, just wait, what's the look?
Hey,
I'm talking about his tone with council.
I know, but it's,
They've been here a lot longer than you.
well, okay, guys, we have read the lawsuit, and it says we can't put water over what's already been dust abated.
And that destroys it.
Right, we have always used water in the past, and then we changed to the oiling, which lasts all summer.
Way better.
Unfortunately, this time when they put it down,
we got rain.
we got rain.
right after.
It's more than just the rain. It's where you really lost it was where the city laid it off the residual dust abatement, and in some places even put new gravel over the top of it, and you're starting from ground zero
The
here.
city
And it took
employee- the
years to
city
get that
employee-
residual in there.
The city employee was instructed to do that by somebody that it shouldn't have been done.
Well, it still doesn't matter. The city should take accountability for what they
We are
did.
taking accountability for it, because we need to discuss also if we're going to put that second coat down. Stop's waiting to hear from us.
Well, didn't it work out to where they were supposed to be here? And then they showed up a week later?
I think they got delayed.
So they should probably bear some
So-
responsibility as well.
The first question is 4th of July. We have how many vendors above?
17 so far.
Did it
I've
say
had
more?
multiple phone calls today.
So we do have interest. And, oh, are you here? I thought I saw him. Do you have vendors coming in?
No, we got about 10.
You have about 10? Okay. So, I mean, we have the interest.
I don't wanna go in the hole. I don't wanna go into this Memorial Day, Labor Day, pay for July 4th. We're broke, we got things coming up, and it's still, two pay periods to pay bills. If we're in the hole on this one, then it runs us back.
Just a thought, because I talked to Baker County Sanitary too. You don't have to do the dumpsters per se for the lesser event. You can impose that fee onto the vendors by saying, you're responsible for your trash for $7. You can buy one of those ginormous yellow bags from Baker County, and that's your garbage. With a smaller event. It's an idea.
Yes, Bo?
Yeah, I wouldn't even bring a dumpster up here because I noticed that 2/3 of the people in town take their garbage up there and fill it up. I keep
Sleeping bags and hard hats, that's not really a flea market thing.
And that's not really a true cost, the representation of the flea market during the cost. You think
No,
about
they
that.
shouldn't have. The
Because
flea market-
sanitary bills X, and half of that was residential rate waste from Sumter that would opportunize. If you just cut the dumpster out of the situation, I wonder if we're in the black. Because I think, like you said, the porta johns and the sanitation is substantially dealt with, if that's one of the
Right,
elements of the
right.
agreement.
In 4th of July,
Yeah,
4th of July, you reduce your
I
numbers
just
to
tell the
4th of
vendors
July.
to take their own garbage home.
Yes, John?
I would point out to council, this is the first time that I have ever seen so many of the residents and the businesses step up to supplement the cost. And I think that if council goes ahead with this and the vendors finally realize how much they do have to step in, they sound to me like they're gonna step up. You don't need any porta potties up at the ground,
No, we don't.
none up there.
You don't
Get the
need two
restrooms
over by
open.
where we are, because we watched.
And I don't need two in front of my house,
Okay.
my lawnmower.
Seriously, you can
One will
cut
do
your
it.
outhouses, at least the one on the alley by us, in half.
John, did you talk to your neighbor that does the vendors? Are they gonna have vendors up there by the floor?
Cindy, where are you?
Oh, you're- oh, I'm
Right
sorry. Do you have vendors coming?
I've got
Possibly
4, maybe 5,
We got room for 10.
but I've got room for 10. And I know that there's a few of them that are gonna call.
And the store is already full.
They're looking to where they need to go right now, so, I mean, it's not a decision in the next week.
Look at how they broke out over Memorial Day. They're waiting for 4th of July. They want to get out. We just went to California and back. California is choking. They want to get out of this junk.
Oh, sure.
People are dying to get out of this. You might be shocked at what happens on 4th of July. It won't be Memorial Day, it won't be Labor Day, but you might be shocked.
Okay. Larry?
Sorry.
That's okay.
I did talk to the Baker County Police after the weekend,
Mhm.
and they said that we need to make that a 4-way stop there. just for the weekend.
All right, you're a brave person to stand out
I
there
heard I wasn't
with all that
working.
traffic. I couldn't believe you
It
were
was
out
so
there
deadlocked
directing
everywhere, I was like,
traffic.
oh my gosh.
She was standing out in the middle of the road directing traffic at the four-way.
Because nobody was moving anywhere. The police officer said you can easily just put an orange cone with a stop sign and just make it a four-way stop and it would flow better. That's a concern.
You're very brave. Okay.
I think we need a roundabout there.
Oh, God, don't say that. Okay, guys.
The only thing that I can say is if we can get the merchants in town to help with the porta potty fee, you know, or it's not only a porta potty fee, it can also just be a flat donation
Yeah.
for the event flea market. Because there's some people who say, I'm not paying for a porta potty, and I says, well, donate your $200 to the city to offset expense. And they said, well, we'll do that. And I said, well, that would be a donation to the city for a flea market, whatever that may be. It does not necessarily have to be, because it could also be for the garbage, it could be for the toilets, it
It
could
doesn't
be.
matter as long as there's a receipt written.
Right, and we try, and Renee tracks everything like that into a flea market.
But the big thing was though, Laramie, which you weren't here for the meeting that we were doing for Memorial, was like Ronnie and Justin, they wanted a porta potty. Well, because they came in and they donated for the potty, if we put it in front of their place, because they did pay for it, and they do serve food.
Sure.
So that's the reason why I put it that direction, because
Well, like John said, he doesn't need to.
he doesn't need
And the one
to.
that's over by us, that doesn't need to. That cutting the cost too,
Right.
in addition to supporting it.
Other donations I was thinking about, I've heard it throughout the community, but I didn't hear any confirmation. Can the city charge for parking? Just donation towards parking, anything like that?
We really have a way to control that at this point.
I think it would be a great thing. I think people would pay, if you had 1,000 people that paid $1.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just looking at, I think it's a great idea. Even if it was on your honor, Linda.
Yeah, well, it just depends on where, because down here at the city, down here, they're gonna park wherever they park. I mean, it's kind of hard.
But we could have like a box somewhere that says donate for parking, just, I mean, it might be on your honor. I put a table out today after the memorial, for instance, that said, take whatever or leave a donation, because I had a memorial for my mother. I came back after a ride up to Bourne, came back, I had $26.75 in my little box. On your honor. I just think it's something that would work.
There was a time when people did pay for parking up there at the fairground.
Been quite a while ago.
I'm going to say it was back in the
I
80s,
was gonna say, it's been quite a while
but
ago.
I remember people having to pay for parking in there, you know. Gosh, if you'd had it over Memorial Weekend, you'd have.
Well, I think that is
Make
something,
big signs and drop boxes and just be a donation thing to start with to see how it went.
that's something we need to look at to get in place if we were gonna do that, but it's gonna take some thought in how we're gonna monitor it. And right now, the biggest issue is we need to decide what we're gonna do 3 weeks from now for Fourth of July. You have a question back there?
I came from the railroad and we had above and beyond wonderful weekend, and thank you to all the community. The parking behind the depot will not be involved with bandits, so there'll be more parking there. And then would it help if we put additional restrooms in our little parking lot, since that whole need the pressure off, or we could even get them and put them in the city wherever you would like them?
Well, I do know that, since I was out there in front of Lynn's, a lot of people that came off from the railroad were looking for a porta potty. Yeah,
Mine was long hours, but,
Yeah.
so if we rented it and put it up by Lynn's, would that be?
well, that or even closer to to the station where they get off.
Okay.
Because they seem to be, they were asking directions. So.
I'm still stuck on reading that lawsuit. And the way I read it, we have to foil before every event.
I don't.
You don't really read it that way. I don't want to get stuck.
But we do need to redo, the problem is we do need to redo the road once.
We need to
Because they
redo,
got
we need,
washed off
you
it.
know, Austin
It's
needs
as
to be
dusty as can
redone.
be.
Austin needs to be done, because between the rain and between all the vendors and everybody driving up and down, it just beat it to death. Wayne's gonna come out, and he's gonna take a look, he's gonna do stuff on Thursday. Because other people on the private end of it have complained to him about it. And he's coming back to readjust and see. We don't need to do all of the roads that was in the lawsuit because they're gonna hold up. Vern should know,
Austin and
Vern
around.
should know too, that after we started using dust abatement, and when it's down right, and it's down good, it holds up for this, it holds up for the season.
Right.
you
This
know.
is the first time that road been graded like that.
Well, the thing is, well, we have
And
that.
new gravel put on it. Like I said, it took years to get that
Right.
residual in there.
'Cause
And
we didn't,
I paid for most of that residual,
see,
way more than the city did.
and the thing is though, is what should have been done, which we don't have, is after they regraded it, it should have been watered to get that tightened back up. Because we could have done it with water instead of dust abatement. I said that right after they did it, and then they said, well, they're supposed to be here in 2 days to put the dust abatement down, and I'm going, we have fresh gravel, we have fresh ground, it needs to, I know how to work roads, it needs to be watered.
Yeah.
Heavily, you know, and when I say heavily, I ain't saying that it needs to run like a river, but we didn't get the rain until after they put the dust abatement down. And then after you do that, because that's what I was telling other people too, even when it sprinkles, not a downpour, the material sticks to your tire, and when it does, it actually pulls it up. You know, right off of the road, so you've got a dust pocket right there. And when you put all the tires that was on the road during that flea market, instead of packing it down, it went away. We were, later in this meeting, we're going to discuss that too, that Austin needs to be redone, and now's the time to do it.
Well, include IBEX.
Right, well, what we want to do is come down off, we're thinking about coming, I gotta put it that way, we're thinking about coming down Austin like we did, go down Climax, come around the fairgrounds, and come back up IBEX, to you. The rest of the roads from Austin this way are in pretty good shape,
Yeah.
because they didn't have that hard traffic on it
Okay,
when it was
so
that fresh.
for your information, I'm gonna put some dust abatement down on the fairgrounds where that
Itself.
flower dust
Okay.
is. And after the flea market, I watered that down really good and kind of got it turned back to dirt.
Right.
And I've got somebody coming that's gonna put dust abatement down in there. I'm paying for it. That's why I'd like to know what the city's gonna do on the street, because while he's here, if the city's not gonna do something on that street, I'll have him do it, just because don't wanna die from
Well,
breathing
if
too
we-
much dust.
Right now, I'm going to say that it needs to be, that part should be done if we do this flea market. Especially if we do this flea market. If we
So
do this
when
flea
will you
market
know if you're gonna do it or not?
tonight,
Okay, great.
because I gotta call Wayne, because Wayne's gonna be here Thursday.
Well, I've got somebody coming and we're just waiting to see what the city's gonna do.
Okay.
And you gotta
So-
give us a price, because I don't want to open in price on the best equipment.
It was 2,000.
Yeah, it was $2,000 if you did the full line.
Oh, the full mile, so it's.
So it should be a whole lot less than that.
Okay, so we're gonna make a motion to whether or not the city's going to host the July 4th flea market.
Right. You didn't make a motion, did you?
I make a motion that the city hold the July 4th flea market.
And I'll second. Providing we get additional help from these people out here, and they're all out here, and they're all saying yes.
We all
So
know
I'm
what else we go
I'm gonna
ask them.
assume that we're gonna get help from the vendors, or our town vendors. Is that the way you word that, Justin? Merchants. That's the way it's, merchants. Okay, there you go.
Okay, motion's made to go ahead with the 4th of July market and have some help from the merchants.
Yes. And I second.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, we're having 4th of July, guys. And I'll be coming around with my handout to you merchants, so.
And then now on that behalf, I make the motion that we put the dust abatement down on Austin,
Up Austin, around the parking.
around the parking lot. And I do, and I say to include
So you're
That's
jumping-
right, yes.
So you're
He's
jumping
jumping
the
down there, let's
agenda.
get it done.
Okay.
He's been jumping for 10 minutes.
Okay,
That's okay, it could be worse.
so that's your motion, Mark? Motion, Charlie?
Right, so that way people know what we're doing.
But it's going to be under,
It will be, it better be, because I'll ask
No,
Wayne,
it will be.
I have to ask
It will
Wayne
be.
why.
Let's just say if it's over, there is no motion. The motion is for the dust abatement as long as it's contingent on it being under $2,000.
Perfect. Well,
are you good with
I don't know
that,
how you
Charlie?
wanna do that when we just passed the flea market, because it's gotta be down, because it's gonna be a
But
bad
he
road.
already said he would do it.
Right, he said he would do a mile road for $2,000, and this ain't no mile road,
Okay, so we're good.
so we're good.
So is that your motion?
That's my motion, there you go, figure that.
I second the motion of the dust
I
abatement
got it.
as long as it is under $2,000. Making
All
sure
in
it's under.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Okay, so you're gonna call in stop.
Yeah.
It'll be under 2,000.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're back up to new business, and we have Merritt's planning application that John Young said they didn't look at.
Excuse me?
Did you say you didn't have enough information to look at?
Right, we returned it because our packages did not have the information we
Okay,
required.
so do you guys want to look at it?
No,
and go
because I would
forward?
say that they got plenty of offset.
I've already seen it. I saw the original packet.
So I'll make a motion that we approve Mayor's garage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next one is John's, which they have recommended approval. I don't understand planning, why, like Merritt's had to have sizes of the buildings and the setbacks and stuff, and this one does not have all that information. As far as
Because
how,
there's 20.38 acres there.
I know, but we require everybody down to a fence to have a diagram, give us footage, give us setbacks. And I mean, that's on just a little fence around the yard. Why would, this big of a project, we don't have this, how big is your event center? How big is your office gonna be? Do we have any hookups on this?
I have not decided, no hookups.
No, so your
It's
event
just gonna be
center,
dry
your
camp.
event center's not gonna have any hookup?
The event center will, but I haven't got to that point yet.
Okay,
You already approved the event center. At a
Well, that was
different
at a
location. I know,
different-
but it's the same building.
it's up, but we don't have, the information here is not to what you have had to do in the past for your stuff.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Send it back. I'll redo
Well,
it.
I'm
It's
just-
fine, Linda. It's-
Okay,
I just want to make sure the city is going to approve the project entirely. The fine details can come later.
well, the city,
Yes.
okay, guys, no, hey,
That's great.
okay, we,
Okay, the details of the building.
okay, you guys,
Yeah,
you guys,
point of order.
listen. This is, as you know, going to have a major impact on the city.
I
Sewer, water.
believe he gave dimensions at the planning meeting, so if you don't have.
I hit on the office because I'm not sure yet, but it's got plenty of setback.
John, because this has such a big impact on the city, we need to do much more due diligence on the city side and your side to make sure that this is for the best of the city. So
It's zoned for it.
I know what it's zoned for, but you're talking about 150 RV parking slots, an event center, and an office. That is a big impact on the city. It's a huge, to the point that I think this council should have input from the
On private
residents,
property?
it's a big impact. It is a big impact. And we've already had some discussions, and we were told that we need to table this so we can do our due diligence on this.
What would that be? Because I would like to close on that property and like to know first.
Well, John, I want a better diagram of where your RV slots are gonna be, the size of your buildings. There's part of it's in a floodplain. Is there any issues of water going into the creek? There's fresh water on there. I mean,
There's no, okay, on the water, there's no services.
we need to have, you're never gonna have any services. Don't you have to have a dump site for that many RVs?
Nope.
Well, this is something the city's going to look into. We're not gonna rubber stamp this.
How speedily are they gonna do this? Are we gonna table it and?
Our legal advisors told us to table it for 6 months.
60
What's that?
days,
60 days.
Who said that?
Our legal advisor for the city said to
On what
table.
grounds?
Because there is.
Environmental impact to start with. It's the same ordeal that they had to do up here at Simon's. Because when Simon started to do their project there, and they had it all approved, and they did their thing, and it came back to the water and sewer input, and then it came back to what had to be done up there. And the city basically said, "Oh, shut the hell up." Basically, the city says that, you know, in the ordinance, they can do this. However, for the upgrade for the water and the sewer is all on him, which you know that. Because I'm sure you checked into it.
I'm not doing any services.
But you are.
What?
Your event center is gonna have bathrooms in it. And then not only that, your event center is gonna, it's on the other side of the creek according to this. That means that you gotta bring the sewer line across the creek
Maybe I'm just gonna use porta potties.
forever.
Well,
Maybe.
we can't go on.
We can't go on
Well,
what if and what maybes.
Well, then I need the list of your questions so I can answer.
Right.
I can't answer questions I don't know what
We will
they
get
are.
you a list.
We will make a list up, but the thing is though, is that's what I said, the legal advisor told us to table this for 60 days. So we can make this list so they can look over it to make sure that we're not missing anything. And then that list can come back to you and then you can decide what you want to do from there. It's not that we're saying no, but at the same time, we're doing our due diligence that we need to do because this is a major impact. And also, like we were also told too, part of the list is going to be, you got to reach out to everybody you touch because this is a major deal. So that means Keith Christensen, that means, I'll forget his name now. And then the, all the.
Railroad and the guy in the corner in the red, on the corner of Wild Horse.
Wow.
I mean Iron Horse.
Mr. Strong.
Yeah, that's Tom Strong. You got Schmitz. Schmitz are there. Yeah, they own lot 13.
Yeah.
And then
Order 13.
and then you got Keith Christensen on that side. I'm just saying, it's one of those things where we need to check into this before you go, oh yeah, go ahead, you know. Because it's not like you're putting in more RV spots than we have by 100, more than what we have out of the 2 RV spots we have now, which that's fine. But we gotta make sure that we do our due diligence. And I think that you should be one to understand that.
Yeah, when it's put to me like that, but you give me a list of, time is of the essence.
We will get you a list.
Time is of the essence.
We'll get you a
That's all I can
list.
say.
Hey, we'll get you
Point of
a
order,
list.
point of order.
Just a minute, John Young.
Okay, coming from planning, this is the situation with the ordinance. And like I said, the burden falls on council, it really does.
Yep.
Dimensional standards, section 5.2 shall apply to commercial use. I would qualify this as commercial use. Dimensional standards, lot area shall be minimum of 2,500 square feet. Lot width, the front of the building shall be minimum of 25 feet. Maximum coverage by building inside and other rear yards will be regulated by necessary open space requirements. So the ordinance, off-street parking, sewer interceptor, snow accumulation, the front yard shall be a minimum of 15 feet of residential and 0 for commercial. Building height be a maximum of 30 feet. That is our ordinance.
That's for the property.
And that is our, and therefore.
Don't we have an RV ordinance? Because I think we do.
We have an RV park ordinance.
We have an RV park ordinance.
5.6. So,
Okay, I'm not arguing the point.
Yeah.
I'm just telling council what our ordinance refers to, okay? And what planning has referred to follow the rules. That's all. Council has questions, you have every right. In fact, the ordinance says due diligence, or if even council declares it a nuisance. That's up to you people.
well, yes, I read the ordinance, and like I say, we're going to table this. We will get you a list in the next couple days. At least that's my opinion. What about you guys?
Yeah, we can come up with a list.
We can come up with a list.
I don't,
So,
probably about the first
do you
next
want
week.
to table this? We have to,
Yeah, well, this,
Yes.
look, I make the motion to table this one for now.
60 days, only. 60 days.
60 days, maximum.
Marcia?
Yes.
All in favor?
Second.
So when will we have the questions again?
Oh, just a minute.
2
All in
days?
favor? I will try to get it together in the next couple days for you, okay?
Thursday, okay.
List. Okay, list. Okay, old business, the block grant. We had a question, this is part of the block grant, this is for water. And for you guys, your guys' information, the question was about this flow meter, if we needed to purchase this. Robert at PICO says this is already worked into the bid.
Okay.
And the OHA knows that we're looking at moving forward possibly, so we won't get slapped or fined for this, they're aware of this.
Okay.
So,
Okay, perfect.
and on the other grant, the $20,000 one for the engineers has been closed out. So we're on to getting the block grant. And if we want to get the block grant, Brian McDowell wants to come up and meet with us. Maybe next council meeting.
Is he the one, the block grant writer?
No, he's with Business Oregon.
Okay.
Nick is, so we're.
But he's not, we still need Nick though, right?
Yeah, but he wants to come up to talk to us if we have any more questions, if we vote to go forward. And at that time, he will talk to us about the getting a wastewater grant.
But as of right now, we need to vote on that.
If we are going to go forward on the block grant to get our water system upgraded.
So we can get a hold of Nick so we can get started.
And his price was 3,000 to write the block grant, but he said he would work with
Or
us a little bit.
$2.5
$5 million. I make the motion to go ahead and offer the block grant writing to Nick.
I'll second it. Not put the price on it.
No, because he won't go any more than that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So we will let him know. And then again, I will let you guys know about Brian coming up to talk to us, and hopefully before Tuesday, before the next meeting. And then also, it's not on here, but the wastewater grant, Brian McDowell will help us maybe find money. I talked to Shana and she says now's a good time because of all the money that's floating around.
So when's he coming next week? You're gonna make the
Well, I'm going to try to get a schedule with him. He said he was available on Tuesdays. Mondays, he's on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but all the dates he gave me were on Wednesday and Thursday, so I've got to call in and see if he can come to the next meeting. Okay. I'll let you guys know on that.
Oh, and just have him come to a council meeting?
Yeah, or right before the council meeting, so we could, so one less meeting,
Yes.
one less day. Okay, the museum and the Wright House contract MOUs that have been floating around for a while.
Tony, Did he agree to sign this MOU? And you agreed to sign this MOU? And you looked at it, Charlie, I know I have and Linda has. I make a motion
I
to,
have a question first.
yes,
We corrected, I know the concern was with Martin about some corrections. We corrected all these, right?
yes,
All
he
the
has some
verbiages,
verbiages.
corrections, all the,
He had, well, in the Wright House one, he had grammar and stuff that he said he wanted corrected, but he did not give me that red line.
but on the
information.
museum one, we're okay with all the spellings.
Yes.
He never directed on
Yeah,
that.
we went through the spelling today actually and corrected all of it.
Okay, Marcia.
So Tony's agreed, the head of the Baker County Library's agreed. I have been through it, so I make a motion to pass the Sumter Valley Museum Association memorandum of understanding as presented in this paperwork.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Tony, will you sign after, please? Thank you.
Okay, and then the Wright House. Again, I think there was some grammar and spelling errors.
We went through that
Yeah.
today too, and got all that corrected.
Okay.
John, have you had a chance to look at this?
I have not corrected, I was wrong.
There was a,
You didn't see this?
As long as you allow me to keep working on that thing, Marcia.
Oh, yeah,
that's what it is.
that's what it is.
So I make a motion to accept the City of Sumter and the Sumter Valley Community Volunteers lease agreement for the Wright House.
Before I read anything, the grammar right?
Yes,
Because it doesn't do me no good to look at it because I can't spell.
we could.
I'm sorry.
Is that a second, Charlie?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
So you can sign it afterwards
All
too.
on
There's
table.
an honest politician right there.
Okay, and John emailed and said he's pulling his public comment. And, anybody else? Okay, you guys have anything?
No.
Charlie?
Yes. I just want you all to know that the electrical on the shop's been signed off, so we're past that hurdle.
Yay.
It got done today. So the only thing we gotta do is pour a little bit of cement. I talked to Tim and them, they gotta put the boards up to cover the outlets on that corner wall where the office was gonna go. As soon as they get that done, we get the concrete poured. We'll figure out what that's gonna cost. I should have that done for you by the next council meeting.
Okay.
And then, we'll make a decision to get that part done, because that part has to be done before we get the building signed off.
Okay, great. Did I miss, you were talking about the status of the water grant? Yeah.
Block grant.
The block grant, we voted to go forward with the block grant to fix the water tower. And so now we're moving forward on that. It's a long-term thing.
2 years.
2023 is when it'll be completed.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All in favor? Charlie? Are you in favor of adjourning?
He's having fun.
The pressure's on. Turn the
Kurt
phone.
had a question.
Oh, Kurt had a question.
He ain't here, so we texted him. So the thing is, though, he was asking, so I'm gonna put you on hold.
We were close.
Oh, my goodness. We almost made it before 5.
Kurt wants to know,
Hey, guys, you can hear him.
Kurt wants to know about what we're gonna do with that 27 acres. That would, he talked about selling.
Yeah.
And then well, that's what I said, this is part of this meeting.
Yeah.
Anyways, he says, I didn't exactly want to, I was supposed to do on my end, put down earnest money and offered cash. So are we taking this part off the table for that 27 acres? Because he's put earnest money down on that up there. He gets first dibs if we decide to sell that. He still is interested.
Who's he?
That was,
Kurt.
that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
We never reimbursed him any money. We haven't done anything from the city on that behalf. And he's just asking about that 27 acres.
I guess I'll have to go back and see where we were at on that.
Well, the thing is though, is when John Young was the one who was saying that that's on that pre-irrigated area,
Mhm.
and that from what we understood, you can't not re-irrigate it. When we talked to DEQ, moving forward with the new sprinkle ground,
Mhm.
after a certain amount of years, you can come back and re-irrigate it. So I don't know if we're not gonna sell it, if we're gonna sell it. Lucas wanted to go out and log it, so, and like Kurt says, he says, if you guys go log it, he says, then I'm not gonna offer you near the money that I'm offering. But this is something that's been in the hold, Kurt's had long before we ever sat here as council.
Well, I realize that, but you can't sell city property just by doing that, can you? No, you have to put it out for bid.
You guys need to look in the rules.
Well, you have laws on that.
The City of Baker, if you want to sell city property, it's a vote of the people.
It's a what?
Vote of the people.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is something that was discussed quite several years ago, and we need to, I'll pull the.
But he claims he put down earnest money,
That's what the man says.
I hope he's got a.
and how much earnest money?
I have no idea.
That's been a couple of years ago.
That was never even brought up.
This has been now probably close to 5.
Okay, I will pull, I'll see if I can find some minutes on that, and we'll put it back on the agenda at a
Okay.
later date.
Make a motion, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, I didn't want to have to do this.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and for your input.
Thank you for